What's up, cannabis community? I'm Brent Green, and this is your Cannabis News Live Prime. Prime. This is your Cannabis News Prime Live. Out here tongue twisting already. Anyways, what's up with y'all out there? Today is January 27th, 2021, and yes, friends, there's clearly some sort of shift taking place. Or at least there appears to be. Not sure if it's a performance or a real action, but time will tell for sure. What's up with y'all out there? Let me know what's up in the comments and everything. So I'd like to encourage you all, before I get started, to like, share, and subscribe. Also, hit the bell notification to be notified when we go live here at the Green Scene TV. Okay. So yeah, what's going on out there? Everyone's feeling good and cozy, staying good and cozy because of the weather out there this year, or this summer. I'm all over the place. This winter. We had a pretty intense storm last night here in California on the coast. So I hope you all are staying safe out there. So I'm not streaming on Facebook today because I got banned. I got banned for a week. So yeah, it's going to be the number is going to be kind of slumpy over here today, but it is what it is. Nonetheless, let's get into what y'all came for. So our first story it pretty much covers one of my new faves in the cannabis realm, and that's CBD, as well as other cannabis chemical constituents. That's kind of a tongue twister. Anyways, as you can see there, let me make sure everything's good here. All right, so as you can see there, of course, this is courtesy of the Hemp User's Guide. And as you can see there, the title says the endocannabinoid boost, why dabbing CBD and CBG is on the rise. So the intercellular molecules that signal our brain's receptors, known as cannabinoids, have been around longer than mankind itself, despite having historical records of use dating back over 10,000 years that show how humans have used the plant, It took the word of famed researchers, it took the work of famed researchers Raphael McCollum and Yukio Goyani in the 60s to actually discover the main component as being a cannabinoid, THC, that they eventually found to exist within a system nearly 30 years later in research, which many of us are aware is the endocannabinoid system. THC acts on the brain by musculating in the intrinsic neuronal signaling system, mimicking a key natural player, namely anandamide, which is an endocannabinoid. Many find that they feel best when using high THC plants, but eventually a tolerance builds up, just like with the use of any substance. What many don't realize is our endocannabinoid system requires a balance, and that means we need to feed it much more than one constituent from the plant. There's so much debate and online talk about how and when to use cannabinoids, but most will find their own happy place in dosing and type in their own or on their own with a tad of guidance. Other cannabinoids have a function that does not include a direct antagonizing or landing upon a cannabinoid receptor. Instead, their function is to create endogenous cannabinoids, ones our body makes, endocannabinoids. Okay, so let's get into this really quick. So yeah, our body, I'm not sure if any of y'all know this, but our body makes its own cannabinoids. It makes its own THC chemicals. That we have receptors in our brain specifically for THC. Just a little side note there. Anyways, so where was I? Both CBD and CBG fall into this category. Their function is not to directly stimulate the main receptors, but rather to create the internal endorphins our body needs to both land on receptors as well as tell our system that we need to grow more of those landing pads themselves. 2-AG is another endocannabinoid that's produced when the system is balanced and correctly working. As much as THC makes us feel that escape from our pain or other problems, it's only replicating what our body can make on its own, but stronger. Slowly, the puzzle starts to fit together and make sense. Like anything else in life, we need balance. THC is a cannabinoid that many love, including this author, including this speaker. But all on its own, it can get lost in the various paths of the endocannabinoid system. This is where cannabinoids such as CBD and CBG come into play. When inhaled, they cause a rush of endocannabinoid activity into the brain, and that causes a competition we want. Anandamide is now fighting with THC if the patient uses both, and the winner gets to land on the receptor. As the brain sees this fight happening, it has only one beautiful choice, and that's to build more receptors in its system. THC is much like the bliss molecule, anandamide, so they will fight over which one gets to land on the CB1 receptor. When we inhale exogenous cannabinoids from the plant or outside of the body, there's an immediate physiological response. If it's THC that we've inhaled, quickly we find that it hits our head hard. Wow, do we get medicated fast? But for some, that's because that became a bit more complicated as tolerances grow. I used to use 50 milligrams of THC oil, and now I'm using 2 grams a day, Mary explained to me. It's like I don't get any satisfaction from it, whether it's inhaled or ingested. Mike, what do? This is a patient I've worked with for years. THC is hijacking that receptor system for reasons likely best known by the plants, but us humans can definitely work towards finding out the scientific reasons. It's quite obvious that after thousands of years of human use, prohibition caused a sudden decline in exogenous plant cannabinoids from entering the human body. And this caused a reduction in anandamide as well as receptors for it. After several generations were born with limited anandamide in breast milk, where it naturally is, the body started to lose touch with this major system, and the endocannabinoid system slowly declined, causing most to become deficient and sick. This created the 20th century of disease, we say, over the last 100 years. Y'all, yeah, this sounds like a total throwback to our ancient, what our body needs, from an ancient perspective. It's pretty interesting. So I found this article to be rather informative. These are the types of subjects that make me excited about our cannabis future. Yeah. Speaking of cannabis future, or in this case, the dregs of the such, cannabis pollution, one of the largest hidden conversations surrounding our beloved cannabis. Yeah, y'all. So our next story here is a courtesy of Redheaded Black Belt. And yeah, as you can see there, the headline says an overturned fuel tank at a cannabis grow leads to over $100,000 fine and more. So 2 out-of-state men were ordered by a judge to pay over $117,000 in restitution for water pollution violations stemming from an overturned fuel tank that released an estimated 760 gallons of diesel into the Rock Tree Creek, a tributary of the Eel River. The men had used the fuel tank to power an illegal indoor cannabis grow on their property in December 2017. An investigation determined the tank overturned and spilled fuel on December 16th. A notification was later made on behalf of the men on January 18th, prompting a response and investigation by the California Department of Fish and Wildlife's Office of Spill Prevention and Responses. Northern Field Response Team, the subsequent mitigation by other state agencies. The incident led to long-term pollution of the stream, killing steelhead and other sensitive aquatic species. Y'all, what the hell is going on? Yeah, this subject is one of the things I never really wanted to get into this in my early years, because I know in some ways it was considered treason, but cannabis pollution is a huge issue. I don't know what else to say, but let's get back into this article some. So the judge placed Sanyel Sanyel of New York and Uchina of Florida on 12 months of summary probation. Their sentence also included suspended jail time of 100 days, as well as a suspended $1.5 million fine for their role in the pollution incident. The restitution will cover the roughly $112,000 in CDFW OSPR response costs and $5,000 for natural resources damages. Additionally, the defendants are required to clean up their property pursuant to state agencies' direction. According to investigators, the men's indoor grow was initially connected to Pacific gas and electric infrastructure, but was later converted to a generator power system using the fuel tank to cut corners and avoid paying utility bills. Here's a quote here. If they reported the spill, and this is really important, y'all. If they reported the spill at the time of the release, response measures could have been taken to remove contaminated soils near the overturned tank and prevent the fuel from migrating into the stream, said Eric Laughlin, a public information officer with CDFW OSPR. Instead, and I quote, "Instead, it ended up being a costly cleanup that had a deep impact on the waterway, fish, and other organisms." Wow. 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 So did you all happen to catch that? They said if they'd reported the spill when it happened, the issue wouldn't be as big as it is currently. Y'all, the runoff ran into a nearby stream. Come on. Yeah. That means that you could possibly be drinking that water, or we could possibly be drinking that water somewhere in the mix. Or perhaps some of the weed that you're going to smoke next year could be grown, or excuse me, some of the weed you smoked already or could be smoking right now could have been grown with that water. Yeah, contaminated. Anyway, so our next story is a short blurb on the subject of cannabis banking. I know how much y'all love the subject of cannabis banking. Alrighty. So, as you can see here, the story is courtesy of MJ News, or excuse me, MJ Biz Daily. And the headline says California Trade Group offers, in quotes, marijuana banking services through a credit union. So, whoa, what the hell? That's not what I wanted to happen, y'all. All right, so the California Cannabis Industry Association on Tuesday unveiled a partnership with North Bay Credit Union, under which CCIA member, in quotes, marijuana companies can obtain an array of financial services. According to the news release, CCIA's roughly 400 member businesses will qualify for membership in the credit union and access to banking services such as checking accounts, online bill payment, wire transfers, and ACH processing. CCIA members can also join the credit union as individuals. The North Bay Credit Union, based in Santa Rosa, has over $100 million in assets and offers a full range of loans, including mortgages, vehicle loans, home equity loans, agricultural loans, and private student loans, according to the release. The credit union has been working with, in quotes, marijuana companies for several years. However, when North Bay initially announced in 2019 that it was working with California cannabis businesses, it was quickly overrun with requests for services. A lack of access to traditional banking services has long been one of the biggest business obstacles for state legal, in quotes, marijuana companies, and efforts to solve the problem have remained elusive. Though hundreds of banks nationwide already work with cannabis companies, they simply don't advertise their willingness to do so, given that, in quotes, marijuana remains federally illegal. Yeah, federally illegal. But they still are taking that money. So I encourage y'all to seek out there if you're an operator and you need to do something with your money. I encourage you to shop around. So that article for sure was on a positive note in our market, one that has been plagued with cash profits and now in nowhere to put it. Better said, to be able to enjoy the benefits of a secular banking institution. Wait a minute. Hold on. Yeah, I'm tripping on my writing here on the teleprompter. It says, better said, to be able to enjoy the benefits of a secular banking institution. Alrighty. So the next story's got a few choice words for unlicensed operators in Monterey County, California. Yeah. So let's check that out. So this story is courtesy of Monterey County Now. And as you can see, the headline says the district attorney seeks a 7-figure fine against a cannabis grower who lacked proper permits. He had them permits, y'all. In the lawsuit filed last May by Monterey County District Attorney's Office against cannabis entrepreneur Paul King and 13 cannabis companies he either founded or has his hands in. The phrase failure to, in quotes, appears upwards of 100 times. To name a few, there's failure to obtain a commercial cannabis permit, failure to seek a modification to a cannabis permit, failure to make a good faith effort to resolve problems, and failure to maintain all required state licenses. King, whose business entities include California Holdings Incorporated, California New Wave, and Fuji Farms LLC, came to Monterey County in 2018 from Sonoma, where the cannabis rules were even more onerous and the amount of cannabis you could grow under a single license was capped at 10,000 square feet. It's a big part of the reason we chose to be here, King says in 2018. In quotes, things were just starting out here and we were fortunate to get a good landlord familiar with the county. They had a person helping with licensing, and we tried to stay on top of all the information the county was giving us and to do everything compliantly. In quotes, along the way, King says, things went sideways. They went sideways. According to the lawsuit filed under the state's unfair competition laws, things went sideways quickly. The County Resource Management Agency, tasked with issuing cannabis licenses and doing compliance checks once businesses are running, issued a permit to Fuji Farms for 2,500 feet of canopy cultivation in August 2018. During a compliance check in September that year, RMA measured just over 75,000 square feet of canopy and determined the plants were grown prior to Fuji receiving permits. California New Wave, meanwhile, took over a cultivation site from another company on Encinal Road and grew crops for four greenhouses during the summer of 2018, but did not obtain a temporary license until that November. Other allegations in the suit include transporting or selling cannabis in Monterey County under a license issue by Sonoma County, illegally delivering cannabis and consuming cannabis at the sites of commercial cannabis operations, and growing 40,000 square feet of cannabis and at a facility permitted to grow 20,000 square feet. Y'all, did y'all catch the one, what is it? It says consuming cannabis at the sites of commercial cannabis operations. I mean, just so y'all know, one of the BCC rules for permitting is that you can't consume cannabis on the site. I thought everyone knew that here. So there is a quote at the very end that I wanted to bring into focus here. So the quote here at the very end by the Deputy District Attorney Greg Peterson, who heads the office's Cannabis Enforcement Group, declined to speak about the case in particular, but says their mandate is to rein in unfair business practices. We're not going after someone to try to make their lives difficult, Peterson says. We're trying to make it as fair and equitable as possible in the cannabis industry. And in cannabis, it usually means someone is unlicensed and growing without a right to do so. There is something that I found very interesting about that last quote. And that is that as soon as my teleprompter get there, so they're tying cannabis equity or lack thereof with unlicensed operators. They're tying the two together. They're saying that unlicensed, at least that's what my takeaway from it was that they're saying that unlicensed operators are throwing off the ability to make this an equitable market. Yeah, so many implications, all the implications. So this next story is about when a mainstream company takes on a cannabis company and a trademarking issue. Yeah, it's going down. It's going down. So this article is courtesy of Harris Bricken. So as you can see there, the headline says Circle K is the latest company to take on a cannabis business in a trademark dispute, y'all. They out here taking on cannabis businesses, and the cannabis businesses is, well, I wouldn't say they're struggling, but sorta. Earlier this month, Circle K Stores Incorporated, owner and operator of the chain of Circle K convenience stores, filed a trademark trial and appeal board notice of opposition against Medical, in quotes, Marijuana Incorporated, a California company with a pending U.S. federal trademark application for the following design mark. Yeah, you seen that there? That's a Circle K. The MMK mark was filed to cover the following services in Class 035. Marketing consultation in the field of botanical products and hemp-based products, namely hemp-based personal care products, anti-aging products, food and nutritional supplements, chewing gums, candies, beverages, edible oils, and vaporizers. Retail services provided through direct solicitation by a network of independent distributors and independent representatives directed to end users, featuring botanical products and hemp-based products containing or derived from cannabis with the Delta-9 THC concentration. Let's move along through this article here a bit. So according to Circle K's notice of opposition, the company operates nearly 10,000 stores in North America and operates thousands of stores in Europe and Asia. Circle K alleges that the MM in quotes K mark so resembles the Circle K marks that when used on or in connection with the goods identified in the opposed application, it is likely to cause confusion, to cause mistake, or to deceive consumers as the source of the goods. We've written before about the TTAB opposition process, and we have also talked about the TTAB opinions related to cannabis. Typically look like a trademark opposition is a proceeding in which one party seeks to prevent registration of another party's trademark, as in the case here. If a party believes that it will be damaged by the registration of a mark, it can file an opposition. It's getting heavy out there, y'all. It's shifting in all kinds of ways, right? All over the place. So moving along to our next story, which alludes to the possibilities of the antibiotic properties of cannabis, particularly for those of you who like it raw. Yeah, I just said that. This is for those of you who like it raw. Oh no, y'all got a little, oh, okay. So this story is courtesy of Oxford University out there in the Bay Area. Shout out to all y'all out there in the Bay Area. So as you can see here, it says a surprising drug could become the first antibiotic class in 60 years to kill off resistant bacteria in diseases such as gonorrhea, meningitis, and Legionnaires. Researchers at the University of Queensland Institute for Molecular Bioscience. Just 1 second here, y'all. Just want to make sure everything's good. Oh, messed up again. Let's see. Researchers at the University of Queensland's Institute for Molecular Bioscience have discovered a new use for cannabis in their global fight to stop deadly superbugs. Laboratory studies have shown synthetic cannabidiol, which is CBD, the main non-psychoactive component of cannabis, better known as CBD, can kill bacteria in diseases such as gonorrhea, a sexually transmissible infection. The research has been hailed as a potential world medical breakthrough. Amid predictions, drug-resistant infections could result in 10 million deaths worldwide a year by 2050 unless an alternate treatment is found. Yeah, y'all. Yeah, it's getting real hot in the place, so watch out. So on to Mexican cannabis and the happenings surrounding their legalization efforts there. very interesting legalization efforts they have going on there, I have to say. Yeah, y'all, as you can see here, this story is courtesy of the Daily Beast. And yeah, you can see that headline there is very clear. Oh, you having some issues. Okay, let me fix that for y'all. Let me fix that headline for y'all so y'all can see it better. Yeah, tell me that I'm messed up. Oh man, it's getting away from me. Hold on, I'm having a little my computer's malfunctioning. Having a bit of a malfunction here. All right, so it looks like things are getting back in order here on my end. Anyway, so the headline says the Sinaloa cartel is setting up front operations to hijack Mexico's new legal pot market. Cartel farmers tell the Daily Beast they are importing stronger, more lucrative strains of, in quotes, marijuana to sell in the legal market and maximize profits through front operations. So in Culiacan, Mexico, it's considered the most powerful criminal organization in the Americas, if not the world. But now the brutal Sinaloa cartel is preparing to go legit and to make millions of dollars through front organizations in Mexico's new legal pot industry. Cartel operatives told the Daily Beast they hope to transit from the illegal market to the multi-million-dollar legal market as soon as Mexico passes reform to legalize, in quotes, marijuana for adult use. Yeah. So one of the first changes as the Sinaloa cartel prepares to compete on the open market is the introduction of much more powerful, in quotes, marijuana. Mexican farmers working with the Sinaloa cartel in remote areas told the Daily Beast they are already dropping the old techniques and adopting a sophisticated process that includes genetically modified crops and fertilization systems to produce more potent weed. Some inside the Sinaloa cartel are exploring ways to set up legal shops under frontmen, according to cartel members. Inevitably, some of the more powerful crop could also end up on the, in quotes, black market or smuggled into the U.S. I thought the people wasn't really smuggling weed over the border anymore now that so much cannabis is becoming legal here, or so many states are becoming legal. Help me understand. So it says, here's a quote, we are now leaving the old Mexican, in quotes, marijuana aside. Our bosses brought new seeds from Germany for us to grow a better quality weed in order to start harvesting this new weed strain, said a Sinaloa cartel farmer interviewed by the Daily Beast. According to the farmer, the plan for the Sinaloa cartel is to start experimenting with advanced techniques and top-notch seeds to be ready to deliver in quotes, deliver paperwork as soon as Mexico passes its new law and using front operations. Make out they have never been in the illegal market. Mexico's state passed a bill, as y'all know, or maybe y'all don't know, Mexico's Senate passed a bill in late November, legalizing recreational use of, in quotes, marijuana, but lawmakers in the lower house stalled it while trying to raise the amount of pot consumers may carry in public over the actual proposed limit of 28 grams. The bill to legalize adult weed is currently waiting for approval from the lower house, with the deadline set for April this year. I wouldn't be surprised if these cartels already own companies in the U.S. as well, or as this article would call them, front companies. I wouldn't be surprised if they're already here. Yeah, maybe some of your popular, your favorite brands are backed by cartel money. But don't quote me on that though, okay? So here's another story breaking down our stoner habits from what is being coined the weirdest year ever, 2020. So it says here what we learned about cannabis consumers during the weirdest year ever. So this article is courtesy of Ganjapreneur. Here, I just need to, I'm gonna try to check my, okay. Everything's good, my aspects. So it says here in early 2020, it was hard to predict what the full impact of COVID-19 would be. Some companies stood at a standstill while others adapted and pivoted quickly. There were and continue to be unprecedented behavioral shifts across all categories, and cannabis is no exception. While you don't need to be in market research to notice that, we've tracked the trends with hard data and put together key insights for the cannabis industry. So I'm just going to go down here to some of their findings. From illegal to essential, COVID and cannabis. COVID changed everything, including cannabis habits. A survey of 1,000 U.S. cannabis consumers conducted in March of 2020 revealed that 42% of cannabis consumers have made changes to their cannabis routines since the start of the pandemic. Not only did they change the amount they consumed, but they also updated the way they purchased it and the forms of cannabis they chose to consume. We learned that the people who started consuming more cannabis were driven by emotional and mental health reasons. As you can see there, 60% of people sought to relieve their stress. 53% wanted to calm down, and so on. Among people who reported that they were consuming less, the top reasons included they didn't want to go out in public to get it, and the next one on that list were unsure of their future income. Yeah, y'all. I'm just going back out on that one. On that note, shout out to y'all out there making y'all's way out here in the world, getting it done, chasing that paper in a pandemic. I see y'all. Anyways, so I'm gonna take just a little commercial break here. I'll see y'all on the flip. What's up, cannabis community? Brent Green here, and I wanted to take a second to share with you one of my new favorite CBD products, Cannabis Caviar. Yeah, in layman's terms, CBD moon rocks. So the Cannabis Caviar is the most sophisticated CBD smokable I've encountered. All organic, potent, and powerful. They ship too. My favorite cultivar is Wedding Cake, but the strawberry shortcake tastes and smells like strawberry candy. Did I forget to mention Since it's CBD, they can ship to you. They also make other products as well. Be sure to check them out. Yeah, y'all, be sure to make sure you get your CBD and go check out Cannabis, Caviar, and all their other products as well. Yeah, and be sure to use the code and let them know we sent you, because we get a slice of that. We get a slice of that payment there. Okay, and you get a 20% discount. So everybody's winning, right? All right. So our next story is a flex from the BCC. Just for you, those of you who aren't in the know, the BCC is the Bureau of Cannabis Control. So this next story is a flex from the BCC regarding advertising. Yeah, advertising. Now, as you can see, again, this story is courtesy of Ganjapreneur, and as the title says here, California regulators say cannabis billboards must be taken down. This article came out yesterday. The California Bureau of Cannabis Control has ruled that cannabis billboard advertisements are not allowed on interstate highways or within 15 miles of the California state border. The California Bureau of Cannabis Control has ordered the removal of cannabis billboards on interstate highways and within 15 miles of the state border. The policy change is in response to a November ruling by the San Luis Obispo County Superior Court, which found the Bureau's billboard advertising regulations were invalid. Consequently, no new billboards are allowed on highways like the 101. And existing billboards on all interstate highways must come down. However, cannabis advertising billboards may remain on highways or roads that do not cross state borders, the BCC said in its notice. Whew. According to the San Luis Obispo Tribune, the lawsuit, Farmer versus Bureau of Cannabis Control, was filed by attorneys on behalf of a father who claimed the billboards were exposing his children to cannabis products, which they said violated the intent of Proposition 64. On the Proposition 64 rules, in quotes, any advertising or marketing involving direct individualized communication or dialogue controlled by the licensee shall utilize a method of age affirmation to verify that the recipient is 21 years of age or older. According to the Cannabis Marketing Association, at least 71.6% of a cannabis advertisement's expected audience must be at least 21. Yeah, and that goes out to all of you content creators out there who are seeking to work with these companies. That's something that you definitely want to take note of, right? And you definitely want to make sure that the companies you are making reviews and videos for are legal cannabis companies, friends, or you could be fined for that as well. I just wanted to let you know. Just want to be your homie. All right, y'all. So, like I said, I'll be back streaming over there on Facebook tomorrow or next week. Yeah, of course, getting banned causes your numbers to slump, but whatever. It is what it is. So, okay, friends, there you have it. Your weekly dose of cannabis news. Be sure to tune in on Fridays for Freeform Friday with body mechanics. Also, if you like that content, be sure to hit our Cash App, which, hold on, it's not on the screen, but here, I'll type it in. Excuse me, I'll type my Cash App in here. All right, so there you go. We also have that, we also have Patreon as well. Anyways, nonetheless, friends, remember, friends, the best things in life are green. And I'm Brent Green, and this has been your Cannabis News.
Stay tuned.